Hello everyone, welcome you all. So in this video, I'm going to discuss about basic introduction about robot framework. So what is robot framework, how we need to organize our test cases and test suits. And then we'll see a practical session like how we can automate very basic test cases using robot framework. So here I'm going to use Python with Selenium along with the robot framework. So first of all, let us understand what is a robot framework. So robot framework is a kind of a framework. So it is a generic framework, a test automation framework for acceptance testing. So acceptance testing or test driven development. Acceptance test driven development. So basically the robot framework will support ATDD kind of framework. So we have multiple types of framework, like we have a TDD framework, we have a BDD framework, ATDD also another kind of a framework. So robot framework is basically implemented for acceptance test driven development framework. So it will basically follow the keyword driven testing approach. Is a basically Python based automation framework. Is a Python based automation framework, and internally it uses keyword driven testing approach. So we have certain number of keywords which are coming from Selenium robot Selenium library. So by using those keywords, we can automate our test cases in robot framework. So this is a basic understanding of what is robot framework. So in the last session, we have seen how to install robot framework. So we have installed robot framework, and also we have installed Selenium library for robot framework. So to cross verify whether they are properly installed or not, what I have to do is open the command prompt, just check pip list command. So this will give you, so what are all things we have already installed on your system. So robot framework we already installed, and robot framework Selenium library is also installed. So these two are mandatorily required to start with the robot framework. Now let me open my PyCharm. So in the last session, I have created a new project called Robot Framework Selenium, right? And also I have created the first test suite dot robot. So once we open this particular test suite, here we need to understand three important things. And the test suite contains a multiple sections. So the test suite basically contains a multiple sections. So normally the robot framework will be like this: robot framework structure we need to understand, and then we can easily automate our test cases. So robot framework structure. So how the structure will be is, the first thing will be here settings. So settings will be there. So inside the settings we can add different kinds of libraries, like the Selenium library is one of the example. This is the one section, and the other section is a test cases. Test cases will be another section, and here keywords is another section. Keywords is another section. So these are the main three sections currently we have: settings and test cases and keywords. Okay, so every test suite contains three important sections. So under settings we can just import all libraries. So third-party libraries will be imported. So like Selenium library also we need to specify here. So all the libraries will be imported here. And under test cases section we can create multiple test cases. Multiple test cases we can create any number of test cases, like the test case 1, 2, 3, 4, something like this. The test case 1 and test case 2 and so on. So we can create any number of test cases inside the section. And the third section is a keyword section. In the keyword section we have to specify set a number of keywords. So for example, I want to specify a keyword. For example, let's say URL. So I'm going to use URL in my test case. I say URL. Okay, so URL is something called facebook.com. So if you see this one, this particular one is a keyword for that particular keyword. So this is basically a variable, not exactly a keyword. For this particular variable, I have assigned some value. Okay, these are all basically variables, not exactly keywords. But actually the keyword will be a statement, like suppose let's say open browser. This is called as a keyword. So it is called as a keyword. So for this keyword, what are the actions we have to perform will be defined under this. So under this we have to define what are actions we have to perform. When I call this keyword from my test case, whatever actions we have defined inside this keyword will be executed. So each and every section will be related. And for define these variables, we will create another section here called variables. So here we will also create another section called variables. So under variables, we will create all kinds of variables here. So like this should be part of here. Okay, so these are the different sections we have in the robot framework test suite. So test suite contains the settings, variables, test cases, and keywords. So in the test cases, we use these keywords, and again these keywords will be a user-defined keywords are already there, or we can create our own keywords, or the Python Selenium library also provided certain number of keywords, so we can use those keywords in our test cases. Okay, so this is a basic structure of robot framework Selenium test suite. So inside the test cases, we can add any number of test cases. Okay, now let us see how we can write very basic test case using robot framework. So let me just open my PyCharm window. So here my suite is there. So under settings, we need to just documentation means we have to specify some description of your test suite, everything we can specify, but this is still optional. We still have nothing will happen. And especially under settings, we need to import different libraries. For currently we have Selenium library, right? So we already installed. So that library we have to specify. So library, and the name of the library is, I'll say Selenium library. So we have to specify the libraries here. So all third-party libraries will comes under this particular settings. Now once we have imported this library, under test cases, I'll create a few number of variables also. So let me create one more section, and the section will be start with the triple star. So here I will write few number of variables. So here I'll write few number of variables. Let us say, so I need two variables like browser, what browser I required, and what's URL I need to pass to the browser. So I will define two variables. Let us see how we can define the two variables. So here $symbol in the curly braces, I will specify. These are all user-defined variables. Okay, we can give any name to that. And once you created this variable name, just give two spaces. After two spaces, specify the variable name. So Chrome is a browser. So browser is a variable and Chrome is a value of this variable. Now similarly, I need to also create one more variable. Let's say dollar in the curly braces, I will just say URL. So for this URL, just give two spaces and then specify the URL of application. So now I'm going to add URL of application. So this is my URL of application. Now these variables I can use in your test case later. Okay, so we can create any number of variables which are under variable section. Now come to the test cases section. So under test cases, here we need to give the title of your test case. So currently I'm giving one test case called test case title is TC underscore 001 underscore, I'll just say login test. So this is my test case name or test case ID. Okay, so we will discuss what is this tags later. So for now, just ignore this. We don't even require this. I can just remove for now. And these are all by default here. It is given some Cucumber BDD framework keywords. So we don't require all of them for now, just removing it. So under this test case, just give two spaces. Now we need to write all the steps, what we are going to do as part of this test case. So as a first step, we need to launch your browser, right? How to launch your browser? So which browser we have to launch? Chrome browser we have to launch, right? So in this browser parameter, we already specified the Chrome browser. So we have to use this parameter here. So here after two spaces, specify this browser, and which browser we already specified here, right? So we need to just use a keyword here, sorry. So this is a keyword we already have. Browser is equal to Chrome and URL is equal to this one. So here we need to define the step. So the test cases contains the steps. So here inside the steps, give two spaces, because in the Python indentation is very, very important, right? So just give two spaces. Once you're given the two spaces, I am going to use keywords which are given by the Selenium library, robot Selenium library. So let me use few keywords called open browser. This is a keyword. This is a keyword basically which is provided by Selenium library itself. So robot framework Selenium library provided this set of keywords, and we need to learn few number of keywords which are very, very important to perform certain number of actions. So open browser. Which browser we need to open? Chrome browser. So this value already stored in this variable, right? So let me use this variable here. So after giving two spaces, we have to give this value. So this variable is having this value. Now open browser is a keyword which will open this particular browser. and which URL we have to open, that we have to specify before this browser. So here this URL variable I'll mention here. Okay, suppose if you don't want to use this variables, right? So then what you should do is we have to directly specify these values here. So like this is the URL, and on which browser? On the Chrome browser. So this is how we need to pass the parameters. So instead of this, what I've done is I have just stored these two in two different variables, browser and URL. Because if I say like this, what is the use? Suppose tomorrow if I create one more test, few more test cases, in every test case I can use these two variables. All right. So instead of directly writing it over here, I'm just storing those values in two different variables. So now I'm referring those variables instead of putting the complete value here. So this is the browser and this is a URL how to open. So but first URL should come and next browser should come. Okay, and two spaces and just remove this. Okay, so this is the first. This is a open browser is a keyword, and this keyword will open the browser, open this URL on this particular browser. So this is the first step. And once you open the browser, I want to close my browser. Okay, so for now, just I'm running only this particular one, and currently I have not specified any keywords. Okay, let me just later we will see. If I want to create our own keywords, then we have to use this section. So otherwise, we can just ignore it. We can just use existing keywords here, right? Now this is your very basic test case. So what this test case will do is it will open the browser and it will launch the browser and it will open the URL. But before running this, we need to do one more thing. We have to download all the browser related drivers. Okay, we have to download browser related drivers, and every browser like Chrome browser or Firefox browser or IE browser, and every browser we need to download a driver. In Selenium also we will do the same thing, right? So those drivers we will get from the Selenium website. If you go to seleniumhq.org, so here just go to download section, and from here if you just come down here you can find the drivers. So Mozilla Jago driver is for Firefox, Google Chrome driver is for Google Chrome browser, Opera, Microsoft Edge, Ghost driver, and there are different drivers are available. So we need to just download these drivers first of all. But that we need to, those drivers location we have to refer here. But in the overall test case, we haven't specified anywhere, right? The driver. So now let us execute this code and let's read that error, and then we will fix this issue. Okay. So, but before that, we need to download all the drivers and exe files which are related to this particular browser. So I already downloaded earlier and kept them in drivers folder. Inside this, my Chrome driver is there, exe, and my Jago driver is also there. It is also exe, and IE browser is also there. This is also another exe. Okay, we have to download these drivers before itself. Now let us run this test case and see what is an error it will give. But how to run this test case? So if you want to run this particular test case, we cannot directly run like this. Okay, so we have to run through command prompt. So in the PyChamp itself, there is a terminal is provided, right? So just click on this terminal. It will open up the command prompt. So currently you are there in your project directory, right? So in this project directory, so directly I created your test case, test test suite.robot. But normally we will create a new folder called test cases. Under that folder, we will create this. So currently this particular suite is available inside the robot framework Selenium, right? So now I want to execute it. So if you want to execute, the command is robot. The name of the test suite file is first, we have to give first test suite.robot. So once we have pressed enter, it will start executing your suite. Now it is launched my browser. It is, see this, it is launched my browser and also open this URL. But it is not giving any error. Why it is not giving error? Because I already configured that my driver in some location, because there are two ways we can specify the driver. One is here we have to specify Chrome, right? And give two spaces, executable underscore path is equal to, here we need to specify the location of your driver. This is one approach. Okay, so just go to your Chrome driver location, copy this location and specify here, and slash Chrome driver.exe. So this is a normal way of doing. So we have to also give the location here. Then you will not see any error. The other option is, this is one option. The other option is, instead of putting this executable path every time here, So what I can do is, so wherever your Python is installed, just go to that location. So here my Python is installed here 3.6.4. Go to script folder and I'll keep all my drivers here. So Chrome driver, Jcode driver, IE driver server, I kept all my browser related drivers here. So at the runtime, our PyCharm is picked up these drivers and then our test case is successfully executed. If I don't copy these drivers here, you will run into issues. You have to copy them. This is another way of doing this. Okay, one approach is, if I don't want to copy here, you have to just specify the executable path is equal to location of your driver. The other approach is we can just copy your drivers inside this Python home directory under script folder. Okay, and again this script folder, till here you need to configure the environment variable path. It should be part of your environment variable. Unless until you added this path, it will not be taking up. So just right click on this PC, go to properties and advanced system settings, and here environment variables, go to path variable, edit here. Then I already added here somewhere, so that's the reason it is not giving any error. So you can see here, this is the path. So these things we have to do as soon as you have copied all the drivers, right? So then our PyCharm and your robot framework automatically take the driver. So this is your very basic test case. So first settings part, we have to specify the library. Under variables, we can define the common variables. If I don't specify these variables, we can just use these values directly in your test case here. So what is the use of creating these variables is, if I create another test case here, in that test case also I can use these two variables. Okay, so this is your basic test case. Now how to execute this test case? Only through command prompt it is possible. So robot is a command, first test root dot robot. So press enter, it will start executing your browser. Now it is launching my browser and then opening my URL, right? Entering, okay, we haven't done anything else. Just we have launched my browser and then open my URL. Okay, so this is your very basic robot framework test case. Now we'll see one more test case. On the same test case, I'll just copy and enhance this code, and we'll see few more options. So here, just use only one keyword, open browser, but I want to enter some username and I want to enter some password. How we can do that? So Selenium library is provided number of keywords. So by using those keywords, we can achieve those actions. Let me just create one more on the same test suite. I will create one more test case, or in the same test case, I will enhance it. So what I will do is I will just enhance this code. So open browser. So this is opening this URL and browser, right? And then immediately I want to maximize this window. So normally this is opening the short window like this, right? I want to maximize this window like this. So how we can do is, there is one more keyword is available that is called maximize browser window. Maximize browser window is another keyword which is available. So this command will maximize this window. But where we can find all these keywords? So I'll show you the location later from where we will get this all the list of keywords. Okay. So this command will maximize your browser window. After that, I need to provide the username here, password here, then click on the login. So how we can perform this? So in the robot framework, there are some keywords I told you, right? So if you want to provide some text value inside this input box, we have a keyword which is available, that is input space text, input to space text, and two spaces. And here we need to specify the locator. So for this particular element, I'm just inspecting this. The locator is, let me just take ID as a locator, right? So let's copy this ID is equal to txt username and just specify the locator here. But instead of equal to, we have to use colon. Okay, so this is a locator. So input text, this is a locator, and give two spaces and provide the value here. So input text is another keyword from Selenium library. So this command will provide this text value inside this element. Similarly, we have a password, right? So I'll just copy the same statement here. And this is also input text. Password is also input text. So here I will capture the ID of the text password, txt password. Just change this txt password, and the password is admin123. All right. So I have provided username, I have provided the password. We will learn these keywords in the coming sessions. Okay. For now, I'm just using these keywords. These are all predefined keywords. And once we have entered username and password, we have to click on this element. What is that element? Sign in, login, we have to click. So to perform the click, we have another keyword called as click element. Click element and two spaces, and we need to provide the locator of that element. So the locator is, I'm going to use name is equal to submit is here, right? So I'm going to use this locator. So here, put it here. Instead of equal to, I just say colon. So this is element we have to click. So here we no need to provide any other parameter. And finally, we need to close the browser. So to close the browser, we have another command keyword called close browser. Close browser. Okay. So if you notice here, under this test case, I have created multiple steps. So every step is starting with certain keyword. So input text, and click element and close browser. These are all Selenium library keywords. So by using those keywords, we can perform certain number of actions. Okay, so these are all predefined keywords. We can also generate our own keywords, right? So we'll see that. First of all, let me execute this test case, and the rest of the sections are free. I have not added any keywords. And in this section, we can add our own keywords. Later, I'll show you how to add our own keywords. So this is a browser, this is a URL, and these are the steps I've created. Now, how to execute this code? As soon as you save it, then come to your command prompt, execute the command robot first test suite dot robot. Just press enter. Now it will start executing your test case. Now it is launching my browser. And once it is launched my browser, it is entering username. Right, so now it will enter the username and it should enter password. It should perform the login. So somehow it is getting failed. Let us see why it is getting failed. And there is one failure it is saying. So let's see what is a failure it is saying. And so to the txt username id txt username not found. So element is not found, it is basically saying. And let us cross check one more time. I think we should not use any double quotations, guys. Okay, you have to provide the value exactly as it is. We should not use any single quotations or double quotations when you provide those values. Okay, just provide as it is. Now save. Let's run one more time. And here we don't find any run option. Always run through command prompt. So here we'll say save robot first test suite dot robot. Press enter. Now again it will start. So now it is launch my browser. Then it will maximize my browser. And this open the URL, and after opening this URL, it should maximize. Now it is entering username and password. Then it is successfully click on the login, and finally it should close my browser. So finally it is closed. All right. So my test case is executed successfully. But where we can see the report? So as soon as we have executed test case successfully, it will generate multiple types of reports. If I see here, log.html, this contains a logs, output.xml, report.html. This is basically a report. So you can open this report.html, right click and open in browser, go to Chrome browser. I'm opening this in Chrome browser. Now you can easily notice this. So here currently I have only one test case. First test suite, click on this, it will show you all the test cases, but currently we have only one test case and it is passed. And if you clearly see what are the steps it has performed, just click on this log at the right top corner, and then it will show you the clear description, what we have done in the test case. So if you expand this one, it will show you each and every step here. So open browser, maximize the browser window, input text, click element, close browser. And if you still want to see each and every step in detail, we can just expand this one and you can just read each and every action here, what it is exactly performing. Okay, so this is basically robot framework report, default report, right? So this is how we need to automate very basic test case using robot framework. In the coming videos, I'm going to show you different options like how to create our keywords, own keywords, and how to add, how to create, what are the different type of variables we have, how to create multiple test cases here. So we'll see a lot of things in the coming videos. So that's all for this video. So thanks for watching for this. So we'll see in the next video. Bye for everyone.